I guarantee you that at some point, everything's gonna go south on you.
Ready?
This is E23 with Everybody's a Critic. I'm Janae, this is Davis, and that's Olivia, and we're going to be talking about The Martian. Davis, do you want to give a brief synopsis?
Yeah, sure. So Matt Damon is lost again, this time on Mars, and it is NASA's job to rescue him. That's the basics. So let's have a look.
Here's the rub. It's gonna be 4 years for another mission to reach me.
And I'm gonna have designed to last 31 days.
So I gotta make water and grow food on a planet where nothing grows.
But if I can't figure out a way to make contact with NASA, then none of this matters anyway.
We've got an incoming message.
Mein Gott. Mark Watney is still alive.
I didn't like The Martian. I'm just going to put it out there, I didn't like The Martian at all. How do you guys feel about it?
You go ahead.
The Martian, I'm very torn. I'm very torn about The Martian. I liked it, but I only liked it enough to see it once. I wouldn't watch it again. I mean, it was interesting, it was cool. I liked the wittiness that it had to it, but would I watch it again? Probably not.
See, I did not like it, I will say. I'm torn though because I do love Ridley Scott.
Okay, yeah, who doesn't?
I love him for Alien. And what I'm saying is, I thought he did a good job directing this film, and he didn't get credit for it. I will say that immediately. But of all the Oscar movies, this was my least favorite, and I don't think it should have been nominated.
Least favorite, don't think it should be nominated. I feel like it's a comedy. The entire time I was watching it, I was like, okay, space movies, you have Alien, of course, and then you have 2001: A Space Odyssey, which is like the best movie ever made. And then you have Interstellar from last year, and then like I was not over Dr. Mann doing all that messed up stuff from Interstellar, and then like he came into this movie, and the entire time I just still had like all these Dr. Mann feelings where I was like, how could you do that? Like, how could you? And then I watched The Martian, and I was just still angry. I was like, how could you, Matt Damon? To me, oh my, I'm so angry.
Sure, I felt like he was gonna like betray them at some point, crack over their helmet and go, "It's kill or be killed, man, Heart of Darkness style," and just leave. I thought it was gonna happen at some point. I was kind of amazed it didn't. No, and I mean, there's parts I liked about the movie. I mean, I think
there were good parts.
Like Donald Glover. I
loved his character.
Always.
So cute.
Just with the pin and everything, and I was like, all right, this is good. And that's it. I laughed more than anything. Is it not a comedy?
It's a comedy. It was funny. I was like, okay.
It was weird. I wasn't expecting comedy when I went in, so I'm hesitant to call it a comedy, but it was definitely, it was witty. It was really witty, and so.
It was very sarcastically witty too.
Very acerbic.
Which is why I thought you would have liked it, because you generally kind of love
character.
sarcasm.
Yeah, he was super sarcastic. I was like, me too, dude. I feel you. But then I was still just angry. I feel like if I had never seen Interstellar, I would probably like this movie a lot because I love space movies. I love space. But I was just, why did this get nominated and not Interstellar?
Now,
still bitter.
Well, completely different, fields, I suppose. And this was kind of a, I don't want to say it was a weak year, but this has been a big blockbuster year, and I think that's why they kind of felt like they had to toss it in. But did Matt Damon deserve a nom for a lead actor? That's what I didn't think he should.
Why not?
Why not? Because, I mean, granted, he's talking to himself, but let's just say he's just talking like, I didn't feel like he's stuck with one personality the entire time.
Yeah.
Like, I never got a sense that he felt like he was going to die at any moment. And I feel like I should have felt that from him at some point.
Yeah, I knew he was going to get out like the second the movie started. I was like, glad he's going to make it.
Yeah, because I never felt like he thought he was going to, like, die. Like, he never felt like, this is it for me. If they don't come, I'm dead. Like, it was like, if they don't come, I'm going to try to live off potatoes for a while. Like, I don't know. And then it's like, they are literally trying to get him to launch himself to another spaceship. And he's like, I'm going to go Iron Man on this. And it's like,
it was too casual for like, I was like, you're going to get shot into space and then lost forever. And he was like, it's fine.
Yeah, it's going to go Iron Man.
Whatever.
Like, I feel like Matt Damon should have been like, okay, no guys, what if I popped it right here? I could do this. No, but he's like, can I be Iron Man? Yeah. Oh my God. But I think another thing we have to give the movie credit for, and this has been talked by a lot of critics, is it's very scientifically accurate.
I did actually read a lot of articles about this last night about how scientifically accurate it is, and like, good job, but so was Interstellar.
Oh yeah.
So.
Well, there's only one critique, and it's that the storm that happens that gets him lost at the beginning.
Yeah, that's scientifically wrong.
Cannot happen.
Can't happen on Mars.
Oh no.
However, if you ask the author, he says, yeah, but how are they going to forget him? Like, he's like, I had to, put a little bit of that in there.
Yeah, it's not just like you're going to be loading up the spaceship and be like, all right, well, I think I got my keys, my wallet, let's go. Oh, wait, Matt Damon's still down on Mars.
Yeah.
Oops.
I mean, would it be the first time someone forget Matt Damon? Let's be honest.
Maybe we should just leave him in space. I don't know.
And, okay, here's another problem I had. Where was the conflict? Like, who was the villain? Because I feel like the villain
Mars.
Yeah,
Mars
was it
the
Mars?
villain.
Was it nature? Or was it the NASA chairman guy who's like, you're not going to get my funding. We still got to keep an image. Like, dude, your motivations for not bringing this man back on a timely manner makes no sense to me.
Yeah, it was very bureaucratic in that sense. I was like, boring. The disco music, thought that was a great part of the movie. I was like, this is adorable. She's like, Jessica Chastain's like, I love disco music. He's like listening to disco music. I'm like, this is cute. That was cute.
That was good.
Yeah, there's cute moments, but just overall, like.
But like best picture?
Yeah, I was like, we're talking about
know.
Oscars.
Yeah, that's where it gets me, because if I'm thinking of Martian just as a movie, I'm like, yeah, it was a great movie. Like, I really enjoyed it, for what it was, and like, it was good to see. But if you're talking about like the Oscars, no, it doesn't do it.
See,
It doesn't make
to
sense.
me, and this may be a little harsh, it's not even I'm going to buy this on DVD kind of movie. It's it's on HBO. I guess I'll watch The Martian while I'm doing homework or something. It's not a DVD buying movie.
Who buys DVDs anymore?
I'm just saying, like, would you buy this on Amazon Prime? Or like, you know what I mean?
I have Amazon Prime.
You know what I mean? Like, or iTunes, or like anywhere. Like, would you
I wouldn't
buy
pay money
this
for
movie?
this, no.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, if I saw it on HBO, like, I'd buy Interstellar again. I'd rent Interstellar just to see it.
I have
and I'm
Interstellar.
like, yeah, I own Interstellar on DVD.
Blu-ray.
Blu-ray, sorry, DVD, same idea. Well, that's okay. This is an interesting comparison. What about Interstellar worked that they tried to do Martian that didn't? Was there anything that they both tried to do that Martian didn't do well? Because I feel like they both did the same things right.
I think, like, the dynamics between Jessica Chastain's character and Matthew McConaughey's character was what made Interstellar good. And then just, like, there is an entire feeling of hopelessness throughout the entire thing. Like, you're like, you just don't know what's going to happen. You're like, these people are doomed. And then through weird science black hole stuff, they're not doomed. And then, like, the whole time factor, how, like, gravity affects, it's so intense.
Oh, it's mind-blowing.
And The Martian wasn't intense. I was never like, oh my God. I was just like.
Yeah, I was expecting to go into a very intense space movie with
like,
Martian. And then you came out kind of feeling like happy and bubbly and like, oh, like that was a feel-good movie. And I was not expecting that.
It was, normally if I'm going to go see an Oscar movie, I don't get candy. I get popcorn. So who doesn't get popcorn? You're inhumane.
I don't
But,
get
like,
popcorn.
I don't really eat much of my popcorn because I'm watching. I'm focused. Like, I know if I've seen a good Oscar movie, if I still have a pretty full bucket, that means I wasn't eating, I was watching. The Martian, I got like 2 buckets. Like,
You got another.
yeah, like to me it was like, I was like, even because it was a blockbuster film to me. And like,
was.
to me, and it's not a general, because there are blockbuster movies that can make it to the Oscars, but The Martian is not one of those. It's not Lord of the Rings, it's not Dark Knight, it's not in that area.
Lord of the Rings, the part with Sean Bean, where they're like, we're gonna call this Project Elrond, and then like you have Sean Bean in the room, who was in the Council of Elrond.
He was.
I was so angry. I was like, how are you guys not even gonna make like a little like joke, like, oh, there's Sean Bean, like there he is, he was there. I was like, how are you just gonna mention Lord of the Rings, Sean Bean in the room, and then like not say anything?
That's another problem I have with Sean Bean. I fully expect him to die at some point. Just whenever I see Sean Bean, I just expect him to die.
Does die in everything.
He dies in
Everything.
everything.
I was shocked it wasn't like a fantasy thing he was in. He was like playing a normal human being, and I was like, wow,
All right, Sean Bean.
he's
Yeah.
real.
Congrats, Sean Bean. You did something real for
He
once.
did it.
Okay, so we've mentioned that we dislike this movie,
Yeah.
right?
I dislike it as an Oscar nom,
Oscar nom. Okay.
and I dislike it because I like Interstellar, but it wasn't that bad.
What could have made it an Oscar nomination movie to you?
Maybe if I would have cried.
And have a little more emotion.
More emotion, more just less comedy, more like, wow, space is scary. Like,
Now, you go ahead.
Definitely. I think when I see a movie, when it's a really, really great movie, and I feel like, like something has changed in my life because I've seen a movie, I need to just sit there and process it and just soak in the movie, And then when The Martian was over, I was like, all right, let's get lunch. I'm hungry. Let's go. And so
Exactly.
there wasn't that I don't know what it needed, but it needed something to kind of just,
Yeah.
tug on your
Yeah, I
heart,
would say to me,
but-
I never had the investment, and that's the movies I liked this year. I was invested in.
Yeah.
I felt connected, and with this, like, I'm never gonna get lost on Mars. Like, this is cool. All right, yeah, he survived Mars. That's cool. I did that, but that was it. And I don't know if you could have made it more serious or more emotional.
Maybe if he had something to return home to.
Yeah.
He got home and
Yeah.
then was a professor, and I was like, that's a logical turn of events. But then it's like,
It is kind of sad.
did
that
he
you
need to come home? Like, could he have
Yeah.
died on Mars? Would we have been that sad? Everyone
Would
thought he
anyone
was
put his-
dead.
Well, his crew, I guess, is the emotional. Like, getting back to his crew is what he cared about, I suppose. Which, why would you not tell the crew? Like, that was
crazy.
stupid.
That was dumb.
Yeah.
No, we can't tell them. They're flying back. Like,
It's fine.
I'm pretty sure they deserve to know.
Exactly. They thought they left one of their best friends on Mars.
It's gotta mess you up.
Yeah. No.
To
Weird
me,
call.
does it this will be my last point. Does it fall on Ridley Scott that the movie felt too funny? Does that fall on him?
No, I think, wasn't the book funny too?
Yeah, it's
He didn't write it. Ridley Scott's perfect. He can do no wrong.
I think the funniness of the movie was what made it a good movie. I think the fact that it was an intense subject with a very light and witty feeling to it was what made The Martian different. It set it apart from like the other space movies I've seen. However, I think it was also what held it back from, in my opinion, being an Oscar-nominated movie. Obviously, it's not anyone else.
Yeah.
Yeah, we don't have comedies in the Oscars. Come on.
All right, last words. Janae, what'd you think? Like, last words. What'd you got?
I can't believe Dr. Mann did that to me. That's my thoughts on The Martian. Can't believe it.
All right. And out of 10, what would you give it?
5.2?
Okay.
All right. Out of 10, I think I'd give it a 5.5.
5.5.
5.5.
I am clearly the nicest person on this panel. I give it a 6 out of 10. I just say it could have been more to me if it really wanted to be an Oscar nomination. To me, it's not an Oscar movie. I could have picked different films that should have been there. Straight Outta Compton. That's just for an instance, you know. K-Fil 8 could have gotten it over it to me. And that wasn't. I didn't like that movie that much either. But it was still, to me, it was more Oscar worthy than
Was more
The
Oscar-
Martian.
Well,
I mean,
that's a
it's
whole nother
like I
subject.
say, that's like middle school. We begin a whole conversation. You can, yeah.
so wrap it up. Okay, so that was Everyone's a Critic with E23. I'm Janae. That was Davis, and that was Olivia. Thanks for watching.